What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What the f happened?
What just happened? I'm Dan. That's Julia. And today we're here to talk episode 6 of A Murder at the End of the World called Crime Scene. One episode left, Jules. That's it. Just one.
I'm so sad.
Listen, this episode, they gave us a lot of information. We're going to talk all about it. Whether that's information, like maybe it's an unreliable narrator type of thing, I don't know. Because there was a line later on in the episode that made me double take of what Lee said something later on in the episode. So watch till the end. You'll find out what that is. Before we start, just want to let you know we're going to be doing a giveaway once we hit 3,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy our content, just subscribe and you might get a gift. So jumping right into it, starts right after last week. Of course, we knew Darby wasn't going to die. And Eagle Eye viewers in our theory video, people did notice the figure above the pool cover. I didn't catch that last week.
I did. I was trying to figure out who it was.
Darby's trapped. The figure walks away. Someone else comes back. And we find out it's Lee and David. And yes, they're working together. That's part of the whole episode. The pool cover was hacked, so it lines up with the hacks. And I'm really leaning on Ray is highly involved at this point after this episode.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because, like, wouldn't you expect, because he's AI, like, wouldn't he have a way to, like, track that shit or something?
Yeah. He's all
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I'm like really on the Ray theory, but there still has to be something else involved. I'll get to it. I do have a theory later on that I'm going to say, and we're going to be doing one more theory video. So get your comments in. We're going to try to get it up Friday, so there's more time between then and the finale on Tuesday. So get your theories in as soon as possible, and we'll read as many as we can. And it's been a lot of fun. You guys have been great in the comment section. So I'm sure this episode is going to spur on much more theories. So just go wild. She asked straight up about the passport. Like, what's up with your fake passport?
I don't think you've ever been honest with me about anything.
You're hiding something from Andy. What is it? So she's hesitant to tell her.
Everyone I've told the truth to is gone. Everyone except for David.
Which was Bill and Rohan. They get into it. Apparently, Andy's a bit of a wife beater. Turns out it started small and it turned into bigger things. And Andy controls every aspect of Zoomer's life down to like the exact grams of food he eats.
What Zoomer eats measured to the last gram.
He wouldn't let him go outside because he's scared of him being kidnapped. And then we see the scene of, well, we can't go outside, so I'm going to ride the bike in the house with him. And then Zoomer falls, and this pisses Andy off, and he hits Lee.
Sorry, just it was tough.
And Zoomer saw this, and it turns out it's not the first time that Zoomer saw her mother get hit by Andy, so he's upset. Mommy. Rightly so. So she was trying to figure out a way to get out and leave Andy behind, take Zoomer, but she didn't know how. So one day she picked him up from school, but she didn't go home. Took him to an amusement park. And then I thought it was pretty smart what she did because she knew her phone was being hacked. She knew the car was being hacked. And if you notice, when she pulled in, she pulled up right next to the car that they ended up taking away from the amusement park, which was Six Flags. They had the shirt on. So she tossed her phone into another woman's bag to distract Andy or try to hide where she really is. Then she drove all the way to Canada as Monica Chapman and her son Tommy. $213 to her name, and she thought she got away. She gets to the place in Canada. She hears her friend from high school laughing, but Andy's there. So, like, how the hell did he know where to go?
I have no idea, but I would be just so shattered.
Yeah, right?
I was shattered for her. Like, what?
Yeah,
so if
like
anybody has any ideas on how the hell he did that, please let me know, because
I'm guessing Ray's involved in some way. I'm going really with the Ray theories at this point, so...
Everything is Ray.
Everything's Ray. On the plane ride back, Andy said one thing, and here's what he said.
You can go. Zoomer stays.
In this moment, after that, I really started to think of those Zoomer as an AI hybrid theories, because earlier on when he was saying Zoomer's my son, he would never say our son, right?
Yeah.
So it got me thinking, like, oh, is it like his creation, and that's why he's so obsessed with Zoomer? It just made me think. Do you think of that at all?
I guess it's possible. It also just very well could be that Andy's just very controlling, as we see.
True.
And you know, he knew that it wasn't his kid, so he's taking even more control over him, because like now he is his kid. Like, okay, it's mine now. Like, he's mine now. He's gonna do what I want when I want.
he grew more obsessed with Zoomer.
And he's grown more and more obsessed with Zoomer.
So Andy invited Bill. Darby thinks, oh, maybe you invited Bill to learn more about Bill so I can learn about my son.
So he wanted to know Bill. To know his own son more deeply.
And that's possible, but he said no to the invitation at first. And then he changed his mind once Darby was invited.
So Andy invited me, the bait, and Bill said yes.
So that's going to give Darby even more guilt for him dying because he only came because Darby was going. But Bill convinced Lee to invite Rohan because of his boat.
And Bill told you to put Rohan on your list for the boat.
So that was her plan. So that's why we saw the Zeppelin of the Last Chance floating when Sean and Darby were out there in the snow that day with the storm coming. So it all makes sense. Like that was their plan. And the one down, still a go, that it all makes sense. That was their plan. That was Bill's plan. That was Rohan's plan. That was Lee's plan to escape via the Last Chance. So it really makes sense. David got her the fake passport. He's Argentinian.
The Argentinian. Who could get you safe passage to Buenos Aires. David has seen his fair share of Andy's rage.
He could get her safe passage into Buenos Aires. So then Darby puts it together that Bill, Rohan, and David were the three that were going to meet. When Tomas brought the drinks, there was drinks for 3 people that night. And she always wondered who were the 3 people. So everything's kind of lining up. And if we're to believe Lee about everything, then this all lines up and it all makes sense and it's all leading towards the finale. So I'm very happy with getting answers, you know?
Yeah, I still have my reservations about Lee. I'm not sure.
I do too, because
still feels like she's hiding it. She's definitely still hiding something.
There's one big thing. I can't wait to get to it. So then Darby thinks someone murdered Bill to try and stop her, to try and stop the plan. Could have been Ray, because Ray could be just defending Andy. Anyone could harm Andy in any way. Ray's going to take them out. That could be possible. And then someone walks to the door. And after some spooky scenes a little bit, we see that it's Oliver. And he's walking. As we found out, he can walk not very far, not very long. He says David sent him. David's keeping Todd busy.
David sent me. He said he's keeping Todd busy.
She keeps her plan to go to Bill's room to understand the victim. That's what she wants to do.
Oh, I gotta go to Bill's room. I'll go with you.
Lee's gonna go, and Oliver's like, well, I want to come. Like, I've been sitting in my room for days on end thinking I'm gonna be next. Like, please let me come.
Please.
So he's going stir crazy. And I'm off of him as a suspect. Last theory video, I was on him. I am now off of him as a suspect, but I still think anything is possible for this finale. There could be
You're not wrong.
Could be another huge twist. So we'll see. So Lee, Darby, and Oliver go to Bill's room. Darby starts going through his things and sniffs his clothes. You know, she has a thing with sniffing Bill. And Oliver still has his tablet because she said, I wish I had my laptop so I could look at the recordings from the screen on everybody's room. So we see that scene that we talked about weeks ago when Bill opened the door and it looks like no one's there.
That.
It's an empty hall.
No, look. The light changes. See?
Could be one of 2 things, in my opinion. Maybe 3. Yes, it could be that someone hacked the footage and edited themselves out. Could be that.
Someone's edited themselves out of the footage.
Could be Zoomer, because it's too small. Or it could be Ray. Because as we saw, the first scene with Ray, he was only visible via the phone. That's the only way you could see him. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, Daniel.
Right? That's the only way you could see him when you were looking at him with the phone.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty good.
but he wouldn't be able to inject. He's not like a physical form, so he wouldn't be able to inject Bill. So there would still have to be someone to inject Bill. And I'm going to go with that theory that it's Ray, and he got Zoomer to play that virtual reality game, gave him a mission, and he got Zoomer to inject Bill, and Zoomer did it unknowingly. That's what I'm going to go with. Most plausible to me at this point. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. And then Darby's going over the last moments that Bill was dying after he was injected. Oliver points out that the book's here. They go through and they notice that there's blood on a specific page. So Lee and Oliver, they're like, he's marking that for you. It was his last moments.
Because there's something in here that he wants me to know.
And he marked a specific page. He wants you to read this page.
And in his last moments, he doesn't reach for the phone or the door. He reaches for that book.
So it's the section that she stopped reading in the premiere episode, and she never reads this section. And they all convince her to do it. So here we go. We're finally going to get that, and we're going to get the answer on the Silverado killer. So we go back to the night it all went down. She stops for a moment. She kind of starts to panic because this is the part she usually stops at. Like I just said, she never wants to read this part. We go to the scene where they break into the house. They find the remains of Patricia Bell. They match up the ring. We saw all this before. He started with his wife, Patricia, says Bill. The killer opens the door. They say the names of the victims.
Patricia Bell.
Carmen Perez.
The guy reaches out a gun, and this is where it stopped last time. But it turns out he actually shoots himself in this moment. And someone did call that in the comments. I think it might have been Kizenbell, if I'm not mistaken. Someone
Possibly.
did. So congratulations, whoever called that. Then they can't hear because of the gunshot. It's a crazy scene. They use a dryer or a washing machine to climb up. And Darby looks at his license, and it's Frank Bell. So there's your Silverado killer. I mean, they never did see his face. They bring it up later that neither of them saw his face. So, I mean, it's possible, but I'm going with Frank Bell's the killer.
I think they just meant like she was saying that because like she didn't see like the intent behind his eyes or like how he was feeling in that moment. I have to say, I'm kind of a little sad that it wasn't Darby's dad. Is that
I know, me too. I think it would have been really cool if it was Darby's dad and she was suppressing the memory, but you know, this makes sense that a cop did it because he was in so many different states, and I don't know, it just makes sense. So she goes to the neighbor's house. The neighbor's in shock, but once she says Patty Bell's in there, she's like, oh, Patty, like
Patty?
and then she gets upset, gets the phone, calls the cops, and Darby explains the situation.
We have reason to believe and evidence to back it up that he is responsible for the serial murder of 11 women across 7 states.
So the police come, and that's that. They solve the case of the Silverado killer. So then back at the motel, we get a little bit more insight on why Bill left. So they get in the bathtub together, and Darby asks if Bill saw the face. Like we just said, neither of them did. Bill's upset about how Darby is viewing the situation because she's still kind of like on the case in this moment, and he's kind of like realizing how fucked up everything is and how they almost died.
He had a gun. He was about to shoot us. I thought we were gonna die.
Darby is thinking that the killer might have saw their Reddit, and she's getting like excited about it, like kind of fangirling out.
Yeah.
Like,
So I guess in a way it's like we were appreciating what he'd done.
I wasn't appreciating him.
and it's almost like they were appreciative of his work, and Bill's like, appreciative? Like, what are you talking about, Darby?
Yeah, that's kind of how she felt. You know what I mean?
It was, yeah. She was like so into the case, so she was like really happy about what she did. But her and Bill were not on the same wavelength about how things went down because their lives were in jeopardy. There was a gun pulled to their face.
Yeah, but Darby was she was here for it.
Yeah, she's like,
adrenaline junkie.
We didn't die, did we? Bill says,
You're saying you want the killer to have meaning, and he doesn't have meaning. He's just a killer. I don't.
and that's that. So this is when Bill leaves Darby, and it kind of makes sense now because of how differently they viewed the situation. He wrote on the mirror before he left, I think this is both too much and not enough. I left you the car. In the bathtub was his laptop that said Fangs on it and his phone. So he was like done with the situation at this point.
Yeah.
He wanted nothing to do with it, washed his hands of the situation. And that's why he left. So it makes sense because we saw in all these flashbacks how close they were, and it didn't really make sense why he would just leave her. But now it does after seeing
Yeah, but
this.
like that's so heartbreaking.
It's rough.
Like on both ends. Like it just sucks all around.
All right, in this section, I have something that really stands out. So they're back to present time. She's crying. She hasn't read that part since she wrote it. She didn't want to believe she's not able to meet love. Oliver points out the killer was a result of faulty programming, as Bill said.
The killer was the result of faulty programming?
The same code recycled over and over, just in new bodies.
And then they start to focus on Lumet because Lumet has these smart cities. Bill did a takedown of smart cities, points at the downsides of smart cities, how it's really controlling everyone. It's not just a good thing. There are downsides to it.
Smart cities aren't just like cities where the lights automatically turn on. They're cities where everyone is tracked.
But then Darby points out Eva, and Lee jumps in and says, yeah, because she's in love with Andy, right? That's what you're saying? And it's kind of like, yeah, I guess so.
Started to get the feeling that
she's in love with Andy.
she is.
But this part right here, call me crazy, but I don't think Darby told Lee this. Lee says,
you were the one that was held up at knife point.
Did she tell her that? I don't think Darby told her that.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I rewatched it and I didn't catch it. So unless they like did it off screen, I don't know how Lee knows about that. How would Lee know that she was held up at knife point? She only told Sean, in my opinion. That's the only time I know that she told anyone was Sean. That's a big one. Like,
I mean, like, people know that like she got attacked, right?
they know about the pool, but do they know about the knife point thing? The guy who tackled her in her room. That's what I'm saying. So, like, how does Lee know about that? That makes me really suspicious of Lee.
Cannot confirm or deny at this point in time. So let us know down below because you're better at research than I am.
Let us know in the comments. Did she tell her that? How did Lee know about that? Because that, to me, was like a wait a minute. How the hell does she know about that moment to me? If she knows about it, then she was in on it. Blew my mind. We'll see. But let us know in the comments. Did they talk about it? I didn't catch it, but maybe they did. But let us know what you guys think about that specific event and if that means that Lee is in on it. Because otherwise, if she didn't know from Darby, then she knew because she either planned it or she was the one who did the knife point thing. So, like,
who did the knife?
Did the knife point thing. Yeah. Held her at knife point. Yeah. So then to end the episode, someone calls out for Lee. Turns out to be David. He is beaten badly by Andy. And Andy says,
"That's my wife."
To close out the episode. Wild stuff. Absolutely wild. I know.
I do not like him. Not even a little bit.
Me either. I don't trust him.
Him and Ray can kick rocks.
But the thing
unless
is,
Ray's not involved, then Ray can stay.
Yeah, I think Ray's definitely involved. That's one thing I'm like super positive about because of all the hacks that are going down, and Ray controls everything and he's everywhere at all times. So I'm super sus on him. I'm going with the theory that it was Zoomer that injected Bill accidentally. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But we have one episode left, so we're going to do one more theory video. So go wild in the comments. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll read as many as we can. We're going to hope to get it out by Friday, Saturday at the latest. Can't wait to see the finale. Can't wait to see what's actually all going on. I know there's one big twist at least left for us in this show. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see the finale. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple days. Later.
Bye, guys.
Andy always used to say, "My son, my boy."
And they left a Zodiac.